A 49-inch monitor sounds excessive, and it probably is for many people, especially those in a tight home office box room like this. But the Philips 49B2U6903CH curved SuperWide replaced my 34-inch Samsung UltraWide and everything on my desk. And now, I don't think I can go back. I'm going to tell you why it's still sat on my desk as my productivity and play hub 3 months later. Thanks to Philips for sending me this monitor, but this review is not sponsored and all thoughts are my own. I'm Harrison, and let's get into it. Let's go! Before looking at the resolution and all of the cool features, let's see how big this monster of a monitor actually is, because numbers alone don't do it justice. A normal 22-inch monitor is this wide, a 34-inch ultra-wide is this wide, and this Philips SuperWide is this wide. 49 inches, 32 by 9. Basically, the equivalent of two 27-inch monitors fused together with no bezel in the middle. Because I wasn't used to having this much uninterrupted screen real estate, at first I wondered how I would actually fill it all up, cause I do get a little OCD when leaving any area of my screen unoccupied. Is that a thing or just me? Probably just me. It arrived on a pallet, yes, an actual pallet. Getting it upstairs to my office alone nearly finished me off. Setup itself though was surprisingly easy. Stand clips on, cables through the back, done in 10 minutes. The stand is also noticeably better quality than my Samsung Viewfinity. It goes higher, which matters because that one never quite cleared the top of my work laptop, and this one does. First impression of having it on my actual desk though, it's wider than my actual desk. My office is pretty cramped, and with both laptops that I use on a daily basis open at the same time, it gets pretty tight, which is exactly why I assumed I'd be switching right back to the Samsung 34-inch after testing this. And while it is annoying having to squeeze past it every time I enter or leave this box room, it is a worthwhile trade-off. So I work in tech sales on my HP EliteBook during the day and edit videos and do personal stuff on my MacBook Pro at night. Before this, I was running a Belkin 11-in-1 dock to connect everything. One Thunderbolt 4 cable into this monitor gives me 100 watts of charging. Full display, all peripherals, and Ethernet. The dock is now unemployed and my desk is cleaner than ever. But the bit that makes this monitor a super hub, a super wide super hub, is the smart KVM built in. So with both laptops connected, I can switch my keyboard and mouse instantly between the MacBook and the EliteBook without unplugging anything or fiddling around on a settings menu. For the way I work, jumping between two machines all day, that's genuinely one of the most useful things about this monitor. Picture by picture is also brilliant to have on a screen this wide. I can run both laptops simultaneously, one on each half, and cause it's so massive, each half still feels like a full-sized monitor. On a narrower screen like my Samsung 34-inch, PBP feels cramped. On this, it actually works properly because of the size of the thing. On Windows, I use fancy zones for window snapping across the display. 3 full-size windows, no squashing, exactly like having 3 monitors, but in one screen. That's my sweet spot. While for my video editing, I utilize the full width of the screen for that timeline exposure. Mwah. Right, let's have a look at the actual display. This is a 5K by 1400 super wide. You've got a crystal clear VA panel with the 3000:1 contrast ratio. If you're editing videos like me and you need to see the difference between dark shadows and pure black, it matters a lot, and you notice it immediately coming from a standard IPS panel. The 1800R curve on this monitor was something I was unsure about. 49 inches is genuinely wide, and I expected to get some neck strain, especially while editing and scrolling back and forth across the timeline. But thankfully, that's not been the case. The curve pulls the edges towards you, so everything stays in your natural field of view. After 3 months of daily use, I wouldn't want it to be more or less curved at all. Color coverage is 119% sRGB, and there's display HDR 400 support. Not a professional grading monitor, but for editing YouTube videos, watching high definition films, and general creative work, I found that the colors are vibrant and accurate enough. half. For context, it has the same pixel density as the household name in the super wide market, the Samsung Odyssey G9. I was worried I'd find it hard using this Philips monitor instead of my MacBook Pro display. Those screens are famously sharp and properly scaled, and while the Philips pixel density isn't on the level of the MacBook screen, it's certainly sharp enough for me, and I haven't thought twice before closing my MacBook shut to use the Philips monitor alone. For the refresh rate, you can get up to 120 Hz, so everything feels pretty fluid on this monitor, whether scrolling, dragging windows, moving things around the timeline, even for gaming, which I'm going to briefly cover in just a minute. But the quirkiest feature I found on this monitor has nothing to do with the screen at all. It's this. The AI camera, a 5 megapixel AI pop-up camera built into the top of the monitor. You push it down when it's needed and tilt for the best angle. Most special feature on this webcam, AI auto framing, and you control it with hand gestures. So I asked my mate, Mano from Philips, who sorted me out with this monitor to review, to test this feature out on a Teams call. Okay, so Mano, auto framing test. Ooh, I just turned it on and it's already following me. And I've got the teddy bear over here, let's see. I'm just gonna hand over the meeting to Mr. Teddy Bear. Hey! Keep it down. There we go. And we have the teddy bear.
The actual mics will pick up sound as well, but as you can see, it's focused heavily on you. You're picked you as the primary, and that's when you're going to be in that meeting when you're talking. There are up to 40 different hand gestures you can use.
Okay, let's see if it stops tracking me now.
Yeah.
Hey!
There you go. That's back on.
Oh, we're back on. It's like actually useful, not just a gimmick. There are also dedicated physical buttons on the monitor for answering calls, hanging up, and muting, and a handy earphone hook which pops out like this. There's built-in noise-cancelling microphones, and there's the busy light, which would be useful if I was using this in an office, a red LED strip that lights up when you're on a call. It actually syncs automatically with your Microsoft Teams and Zoom status. While this review is focused on the productivity element of the Philips monitor, I did give it a quick test for gaming, because a monitor review needs a gaming test to be legit, innit? So I tested it out on my MacBook Pro and found that games are largely compatible with the 32:9 ratio. And while I'm not much of a gamer, the super ultra wide field of view does add something to the experience. Gaming isn't what this was built for, it's a corporate Philips unit. Their sister company AOC is the fun brand for players, but still, this is a legitimate option if you want to use one screen for both work and play. Right, what does the price look like? This sits at around £1,080 to £1,200 or $1,400 depending on where you buy it. While this Philips isn't the cheapest in class, this is just what good 49-inch monitors cost. I'd say that if you typically require a dock for your desk setup, this Philips SuperWide adds a little bit more value there, knocking about £150 to £300 off, because this monitor removes that cost entirely. Good job I didn't pay for this rather premium dock from Belkin that I reviewed on an earlier video. Add in the built-in AI webcam, good enough to replace a standalone one, built-in Ethernet, noise-cancelling mics, smart KVM, the busy light, and you're not just paying for a screen, you're buying a whole desk setup in one box. Is it an expensive piece of kit? Yes. Does it have a top quality build, and does it replace enough other things to make the number feel more reasonable? Yeah, for sure it does. Is 49 inches actually worth it? Yes, but honestly, it's not just the size that sold it for me. Everything around it. One cable, desk cleared. Essentially, if you're currently working on a 34-inch ultra-wide, taking video calls every day, or doing things like editing videos like me, the jump to 49-inch is definitely worth it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tech review videos just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.